On September 8, 1941, the city of Leningrad was encircled by Axis forces, marking the beginning of one of the longest and most brutal sieges in history. This is the story of the Siege of Leningrad, a tale of endurance, sacrifice, and the unbreakable spirit of a city under siege for 872 days. Part 1. The beginning of the siege. The Siege of Leningrad began as part of Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of the Soviet Union. Hitler's objective was clear: capture Leningrad, the symbolic cradle of the Bolshevik Revolution and a vital industrial center. By early September 1941, German and Finnish forces had surrounded the city, cutting off all supply routes and trapping more than 3 million residents and soldiers within its walls. Despite being vastly outnumbered and outgunned, the defenders of Leningrad, comprising both military personnel and civilians, prepared to resist the impending siege. Trenches were dug, barricades were erected, and every able-bodied person was called upon to defend their city. Part 2. The harsh winter of 1941-42. The first winter of the siege was particularly brutal. Temperatures plummeted, food supplies dwindled, and the population faced the dual threats of starvation and freezing temperatures. The infamous winter of 1941-42 saw residents survive on minuscule rations, sometimes as little as 125 grams of bread per day, often mixed with sawdust to stretch the meager supplies. To combat starvation, the Soviet government organized the Road of Life, an ice road across the frozen Lake Ladoga, which became the only lifeline for the besieged city. Despite constant bombardment and the dangers of crossing the icy lake, brave drivers transported essential supplies into Leningrad and evacuated civilians. Part 3. The daily struggle. Daily life in Leningrad was a constant struggle for survival. Utilities were disrupted, leading to severe shortages of water, electricity, and heating. Residents faced relentless bombardment from German artillery, and disease ran rampant due to malnutrition and unsanitary conditions. Yet, amid the hardships, the spirit of Leningrad remained unbroken. Schools continued to operate in basements, theaters held performances, and the famous Symphony No. 7 by Dmitri Shostakovich was broadcast throughout the city and even aimed at German lines as a symbol of defiance. The Symphony No. 7, also known as the Leningrad Symphony, was composed by Shostakovich during the siege. The symphony's powerful and evocative music became a symbol of resistance and hope, reminding the residents and soldiers of their shared strength and determination to survive. Part 4. Soviet attempts to break the siege. Throughout the siege, the Soviet Union launched several offensives to break the encirclement. In August 1942, the Sinyavino offensive aimed to lift the siege but was ultimately unsuccessful. However, it forced the Germans to redirect their forces, buying valuable time for the defenders. It wasn't until January 1943, with Operation Iskra, that Soviet forces finally managed to open a narrow land corridor to the city, providing some relief to the beleaguered population. This operation marked a turning point in the siege, though the struggle was far from over. Operation Iskra, or Spark, was a meticulously planned and executed operation. Soviet engineers and soldiers worked tirelessly under the cover of darkness to build a railroad and roads, allowing the flow of supplies and reinforcements. This lifeline, known as the Road of Victory, was critical in sustaining the city and its defenders. Part 5. The Final Push and Liberation. The siege continued until January 27, 1944, when the Soviet Leningrad-Novgorod offensive finally expelled the German forces from the city's outskirts. This combined effort by multiple Soviet fronts and the Baltic Fleet marked the end of the 872-day siege. The lifting of the siege was met with overwhelming joy and relief. The city's residents, who had endured unimaginable suffering, celebrated their hard-fought victory. The resilience and determination of Leningraders became a powerful symbol of Soviet endurance and patriotism. As the Soviet forces advanced and the blockade was lifted, Leningraders wasted no time in beginning the arduous task of rebuilding their shattered city. The scars of war were everywhere, but so was the indomitable spirit of the people who had withstood such tremendous adversity. Part 6. The Aftermath. The Siege of Leningrad was one of the deadliest and most destructive sieges in history. An estimated 1.5 million people perished, and the city itself was left in ruins. Yet, the spirit of Leningrad rose from the ashes, and its people rebuilt their city with a renewed sense of pride and unity. Today, the memory of the siege is honored at memorials throughout St. Petersburg. The Piskaryovskoye Memorial Cemetery alone holds the remains of 500,000 victims. The legacy of the siege serves as a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the resilience of the human spirit. St. Petersburg today stands as a vibrant and thriving city, a testament to the strength and resilience of its people. The horrors of the past are remembered, not as a source of despair, but as a beacon of hope and a reminder of what the human spirit can endure and overcome. The Siege of Leningrad stands as a testament to the unyielding will of its people. Through unimaginable hardships, they held on, fought back, and ultimately triumphed. Their story is one of courage, sacrifice, and an unbreakable spirit that continues to inspire to this day. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe for more captivating tales from the past. Until next time, remember the lessons of Leningrad, the power of resilience, and the strength of the human spirit.